Alrighty, so today's objective is to be able to explain the significance of events in Odysseus' journey. I'll do this by discussing our wondering why questions about the Odyssey with classmates and taking listening notes. And you guys will know you have it when you can write a level 2 or level 3 claim that reflects our analysis and then support it with evidence from the text. So let's think about this. Why does it matter to be able to learn from each other and to develop your thinking through a conversation and note-taking?
Well, it helps us develop our understanding with each other deeper and allows us to see others' perspectives that we might not have thought of before.
We can bounce our opinions off each other and see who agrees and disagrees with everyone.
Having someone else's insight can help you.
In what way, Tom?
Help you answer a question or look deeper into like a text or a reflection.
Cool.
If you think about how other people think about things, you get a better understanding of what you're thinking about.
Okay.
And even just because someone doesn't have the same question as you, that question can still help you find the answer to your own question.
Alrighty, so with that in mind, let's look at the right to think for today, to kind of immerse ourselves in this theme. Would somebody just read that for us, and we'll see if there's any vocabulary we need to clarify?
In myths, we are seeing an experience of being alive. That's what myths help us realize. The only myth worth thinking about is the one that is talking about the planet and everybody on it. It will deal with the maturation of the individual, from dependency to adulthood, and relate this to society and to nature and the cosmos.
Thanks, Aiden. So that is from Joseph Campbell during one of his conversations with Bill Moyers in the late 80s. Is there any vocabulary in there that we need to clarify so that you can reflect on this prompt and to your conclusion if it's true or not?
No, I think we're all right.
Alrighty, so just take a few minutes and respond to this. What does this say to you, and is it true? Alrighty, so just go ahead and finish up wherever you are in the writing, and can we get somebody to take some notes for us?
I'll do it.
Oh, thanks, Tom. Somebody want to jump in?
I said that when he said it can be related to society, nature, and the cosmos, he means that myths can be related to every aspect of our lives and somehow help us through that.
I think he was saying more that myths have to be talking about life and people for it to matter, which I didn't agree with because you could just learn a lesson from a myth that can be applied to your life.
I completely agree with Brody. I think that as long as we can learn to relate the message in the myth to our lives, it doesn't necessarily have to be about the planet and the people on it. It can be about like mythical beings, such as like gods or any other mythical aspect that you want to write about. So.
Well, that's more of the idea of like the cosmos. Even if it's not about the world, it still makes it easier to make it something relatable to the reader so that we can get a deeper meaning from it.
So I think we can all agree that the overall theme of this passage is that the only myth worth talking about is the one that we can actually learn from, no matter what that is or what that looks like. As long as we can learn something and take away something, then it's worth talking about.
Which means that like all myths are worth thinking about, because if we learn to relate ourselves to every myth, then they're all worth reading.
I think that like everyone can take away lessons from a myth and apply it to their lives, like no matter what situation they're in.
And also I noticed like this idea can be applied to not necessarily myths, like something that when you think of myths, we think of like Odysseus, and we think of these like old ancient books, but it can also be applied just to everyday stories that we hear from different people, from our friends even. So
Yeah, because that
as we
also.
can learn from things that too. So the idea of a myth can be applied to a lot of different ideas.
Yeah, it
in our
also
lives.
applies to like what he says in this first sentence is, in myths we are seeing an experience of being alive. So it doesn't need to be this like ginormous 500-page book. It can just be like a simple telling of what the day had brought.
Yeah, exactly.
So I have a question for you. Looking at that first sentence, what do you guys think it means to see an experience of being alive?
Maybe like to figure out the meaning of life.
Well, not necessarily figure out the meaning of life, but just knowing that we're human and that the problems that we have can be related to other people, and there are solutions if we experience things like these myths and these stories.
Yeah, I think being alive kind of says that it's not just like perfect. It has like bumps in the road that are unexpected or not necessarily wanted. So if you had just like this bland, really like life that didn't really develop you as a person, could we say that they were actually like alive? So if you don't grow as a person, are you really alive?
I don't know. That's hard. I feel like that almost that's like a story. You can take something away if you have this idea of a bland person who doesn't learn anything, who doesn't grow anything, that you can reflect upon that too. Like that can be seen in the myth. If you don't do these things, if you don't experience, you don't take away solutions from like what you hear and what you read, then you're not going to get anywhere.
So if I could just interrupt, so based on what you said, Colin, can we take it back to the text, to that, to what Campbell is saying? It can be a story that we learn from that bland life, so long as what criteria are met according to Campbell. What does it have to do?
Like to relate.
Yeah, and what's the language that he uses to say that?
Help us realize.
And the maturation of the individual from dependency and adulthood, and can relate to the society and to the nature of the cosmos.
So if you have a story about somebody who doesn't grow or develop, basically a human rock, right? If that story can connect to society, nature, and the cosmos, can it function as a myth?
Of course.
There you go. Okay. And just to pick up on something Colin said before, and about modern stories, can you guys think of any current ones that you've read for school or not in school that satisfies what he's saying here? And that text could be a movie, could be a song, could be anything.
Well, I was thinking kind of like, I watched the movie like the other day, A Dog's Purpose,
Yeah.
and it was like, it's obviously like it's about a dog, so it's kind of unrealistic that
that he would be talking to us, or that he would, like, we have no idea what they're actually thinking.
Mhm.
So, but still, you grasp like the lesson in the story just based on the thought process of of what the dog's feeling, and also the people around him, and like how the people react to
Mhm.
him. So it was interesting to just see how, even though it's not like a human being, the emotions were still there.
Right, I think this speaks to what you guys were saying about a different perspective. That's a very different one. Tom, you've been very busy up there. Can you think of any stories, movies, books that satisfy these criteria?
Not that I know of on the spot, but
Okay.
yeah, I'm not too sure.
I'm thinking of Star Wars. Does that job?
That's true.
Yes, because that's not very realistic, is it?
No.
It still does the job.
Yeah.
Just like this description said.
Alrighty, guys. So thank you very much, Tom, for getting some notes down. We'll just shift gears now and take this process to the work you guys did the other day on the wondering why questions. And Colin, why don't we start with the wondering why question that you developed? And what we'll do is bring the computer back. Okay, so we'll follow this protocol, but before we do that, let's take a quick look at the discussion rubric that you have underneath the Right to Think passage. So this language is taken right out of the core standards for speaking and listening. Somebody just read through that for us, what the criteria are.
First one, you have posing questions, responding to questions, actively incorporating others into the discussion, clarifying ideas and conclusions, verifying ideas and conclusions, and challenging ideas and conclusions.
Any of those ideas need clarification? No, so we're good. And the ultimate purpose is to propel the conversation and connect it to those larger ideas, which is what you guys just did. So we're going to try to take that and apply that independently in this group. And we'll start by using Colin's wondering why question, and we'll follow this protocol. Whoops, there I go. Okay. So, Colin, if you could direct us to the page in the book where you focused one of your responses, and then you can share your wondering why question, read the passage. The rest of you will reflect on that passage for a minute, make some notes about how you see that passage supporting what he is saying. In the same way, pull out words or phrases that you think are significant and give Colin some feedback, and he'll take the listening notes.
Where do you want us to take the notes?
You can take some notes right there on that line paper. Okay?
So starting on page 4 in the smaller translation, well, my wondering why question was, I wonder why Athena is so keen on helping Odysseus. And on page 4, Odysseus is talking to Zeus, and she's trying to persuade Zeus to let Odysseus off Calypso's island, because he has been imprisoned there for quite a while. So the quote goes, but what about clever Odysseus? I am anxious about him, poor fellow, kept from all his friends all this while, in trouble and sorrow, in that island covered with trees and nothing but the waves all around it, in the very middle of the sea. So what I said is that just kind of sets the basis for all the reasons that Athena wants to help Odysseus. Odysseus has been proven clever through his other feats that he's accomplished before this, such as the Iliad. He came up with the idea of the Trojan horse, and it shows it's evidence of Athena describing Odysseus as clever, which of course Athena being the god of wisdom and just war, she's gonna take like to that. So that was my first quote.
Can you just repeat the question again?
Yeah. Why is I wonder why Athena is so keen on helping Odysseus.
Athena tells her father that she says that I am anxious about him, poor fellow, kept from his friends all this while in trouble and sorrow, in that island covered with trees and nothing but the waves around it, in the very middle of the sea. So it kind of like tells us that she wants to help him because she feels bad that he has been away from his life for so long.
And then on page 71, Athena actually does start to help him, because Odysseus was freed from Calypso's island and he was on a raft, but Poseidon tried to sink his raft by creating waves, so then Athena actually interfered. They said, now is the turn of Athena, the daughter of Zeus, and this was her plan. She tied up the courses of all the other winds and commanded them to rest and be quiet. She sent a steady wind from the north and brought down the waves in front of Odysseus, that he might make his way to Phaeacia and save himself alive. So this was kind of setting him up to make it to the island so that he could get saved and possibly return home.
In the larger translation, when on page 73, Athena went to Nausicaa in her dreams and told her to like go to the river where she knew Odysseus would be. So she pretty much like set Nausicaa and Odysseus up so they would like meet. And then Nausicaa eventually helped Odysseus go to her father's palace, and then her father like helped him go back to Ithaca. So this shows that like Athena was like going out of her way to like help him advance on this journey.
So if I could interject, if we think about this evidence that you guys have found of her being helpful to him on his journey, and Brody, I think you pointed out that she's the goddess of just war and wisdom, or you guys did, right? If these are the things that she represents, then let's think for a second, what qualities might she be able to see in Odysseus to make him worth the trouble? What qualities of character have we encountered in him that make him worth the effort?
Well, on page 4, Athena says, but what about that clever Odysseus? So she calls him clever, and she obviously sees herself in him, and she's the god of wisdom, and that's basically another synonym for clever.
Mm-hmm.
They've also called, like, in the book, they've called Odysseus a couple times, like a god. So they kind of see, as Thomas said, that they see their characteristics in him. For example, like intelligence and like maybe like strategy, and they feel that it, or Athena at least feels that she should help him because he has shown all of these traits.
Mm-hmm. So what about the just war aspect? If she's about restoring justice through war,
Well,
what purpose, or how can Odysseus make that happen if she helps him?
Well, when she finds out that all of the suitors have overtaken Odysseus' home, she knows that this isn't, that's not right. It's not acceptable for them to just intrude so much in somebody else's life. And she feels that if he finally gets home to his wife and sees all of these suitors that are being just really extremely rude, then he can do something about it, and it'll be fair.
I agree with that. Penelope, Odysseus' wife, is obviously she's clearly just torn up about this, and so is Telemachus. He knows that both of them know that this isn't right, there shouldn't be all these suitors in her house. Even Penelope goes as far as to lie to the suitors, which also shows she's clever, which is another reason why Athena might want to help Odysseus, because his family also has that underlying clever trait that Athena can relate to. But it also shows that Penelope doesn't want the suitors there as well.